KA, and do we have someone to speak for KB then? Oh, okay, good stuff. Do you want to come forward so we're ready?
I thought it was grouped debates, so I thought that all of the ones dealing with...
So, yes, it is a group. It is a group debate. So the conference decided on the standing orders vote earlier, about half an hour ago, to move these resolutions into this discussion. So we're observing that decision. Maybe you weren't in the room, Marcus.
Hi, my name is Marcus Halaby. I'm from Lambeth Left Unity and a member of Workers' Power. The comrade from Brighton who spoke earlier with regards to Amendment 1A to the international report made reference to the her sense of alarm that that there are people on the left who don't seem to who put some sort of abstract principle in front of their willingness to show solidarity with people who are fighting for self-defense. And she said it with reference to the Kurds. I think I might say it with reference to the Syrian people as a whole, actually, that the Syrian people as a whole for the last 3.5 years have watched in dismay as much of the international left have somehow seen their struggle as being complicit in the imperialist oppression of the region or being even a plaything of it. And it's not true, incidentally, that the Free Syrian Army called on Israel to attack the Assad regime. What is true is that the imperialist intervention that's taking place now is one that is reinforcing the Assad regime. It's not a stated war objective, but it's happening, and there are people talking about it, as well as reinforcing its ally, the Shia sectarian government in Iraq. At the same time, and this is one of the things that I think was absent from Amendment A1, at the same time, I still think it's necessary to oppose the policy of our own governments, not least because their real aims are at variance with their stated aims. They are bombing Iraq and Syria in order to stabilise the region in their interests, in order to stabilise regimes that have the blood of tens of thousands on their hand in the case of Iraq and of hundreds of thousands on their hands in the case of Assad Syria. And we should oppose their bombing. We should oppose their military intervention. We should also solidarise, with those forces in the Syrian democratic opposition and in the Kurdish national movement who are fighting for a progressive alternative. And we shouldn't turn our backs on them just because, for the moment, our governments are trying to exploit their situation to justify their own policy.
KB, page 57. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Ian Llewelyn, formerly of Brighton branch, now of Islington Left Unity. The reason I helped to draft this motion, with the situation with the Kurdish resistance to IS, we have two dangers essentially. We have the first danger in that Western left organisations can end up providing cover for Western imperialism. The other danger is that we sit back on that pretext and watch the Kurdish liberation movement be defeated by IS. The best solution to this, I believe, is to rely on non-state actors in the West, namely the internationalist left and primarily the Kurdish diaspora, which, as we have seen already, is incredibly active and is probably best placed and knows best how to provide material support for their comrades. For this reason, we have to tackle the obstacles that are being put in place, that have been put in place for many years by Western imperial governments to Kurdish liberation. Stuff like the criminalization of the PKK. Western governments have essentially got themselves into a situation now where they're actually, they're actually providing, they look like they're supporting Kurdish liberation. Well, let's actually push them further and say, well, if your stated aims are for the liberation of these people, well, decriminalize their organizations. And it's something, the reason we have to take an active stance and actively get involved in supporting Kurdish liberation is because if all we're doing is saying, you know, we're against Western imperialism, if we're not actively supporting them in a different way, it looks like we're just stepping aside and saying, oh, isn't that really bad? You lost, but at least at least the West didn't invade. So I would ask you to support this motion, and also it's a call for action. You know, get out there, meet the Kurdish community. You know, support them in the way that they ask to be supported. Thank you.
Okay, there is one short amendment from Hackney Branch. Can that be moved formally? It doesn't look that contentious, or does someone want to speak to that? It's on page 57.
Ian, we could ask Ian.
KB1.
Ian,
Do you accept KB1?
Do you accept the Hackney amendment?
I haven't read it.
Yeah, but it'd be quicker for you to read it and say if you accept it then because it's not very controversial. Okay, all right, so some... Huh?
Yes,
Yeah, the Hackney amendment, yeah.